Conventional management under perennial horticulture, under grapes or fruit trees, generally requires a clear story under the trees, so herbicide is used to take care of weeds under the plants. This results in bare ground. Now the top 10 centimetres of the soil is where all the action happens. It's the most fertile part of the soil, it's where most of the nutrients are, it's the area that is most biologically active, it's where nutrients and carbon are cycling. But if this part of the ground is laid bare, it's subject to excessive drying and overheating if the sun shines directly on the ground, and so those functions are impaired. Using compost as a mulch on under vines is an opportunity to repair those functions and to have that top 10 centimetres of the soil functioning the way it should, which is ideally going to contribute more health to the vines, more nutrient availability to the vines.
And getting the best for the growers and the winemakers in the region, and part of that's obviously looking at how we can improve the vine's health and productivity, and the soil around the vine is a big part of that, and mulch has been something we've long talked about, and some of the people in the region have done quite a bit with, but it's not something that we extensively really understand the benefits of versus the costs that are there. So this trial's really a step in the direction of further understanding what we can really do to benefit from putting mulch down rather than feeling good about it.
We're at 10 minutes by tractor vineyard, and we've got three trials, one trial here. It's one of three farms that we're actually monitoring the compost on. So we do have a coarse row over there which has had coarse mulch applied. We've got a control here which has had no mulch applied, and over here we've got a row with fine mulch applied. Now we're trying to monitor whether that's going to reduce the amount of herbicide that's being used. We're monitoring soil moisture and soil temperature. We're also looking at soil chemistry and microbiology and seeing what sort of nutrients have been put into the soil through the compost or mulches. So they're some of the parameters that we're actually monitoring.
Firstly, just looking at the factor of weed suppression from the compost trial that we've got here. Over the first couple of months it was quite starkly resultant in those two rows that we had the compost on, that the weed suppression was quite great. It was very different to the rows either side of them. It certainly made a big difference. From that point forward, we did see a couple of weeds make their way certainly into the surface layer of that compost, whether it be blown in or presented there otherwise. But essentially, if we have a look today across this trial, it is quite stark.
In the extreme heat, the composted rows use certainly less water. The vines themselves were not as stressed, I didn't think, as the control row. Other things I've noticed with the use of the mulch under the vines is less cracking later in the season in the soil. We have soil moisture sensors and temperature sensors. The soil doesn't get as cold or as warm, so there's quite a buffering effect from the mulch. That's my biggest observation. This is our sensing unit out in the vineyard. We have gypsum blocks installed at 30 centimetre depth and temperature gauge at 15 centimetre. Readings are taken every 10 minutes and sent back to a gateway at the shed, and then via the iCloud to be accessed by anybody on the internet or on a smartphone.
The reason Landcare is supporting this trial is, we're right into supporting farmers in sustainable agriculture practices, and to support these sort of trials really gives us the opportunity to put some meaningful data behind some of the research or some of the demonstrations that are taking place.
I'm the Regional Landcare Facilitator for this region, and my role is to support farming industries in the region adopt best management practices. For this particular area, it's predominantly horticulture, and I was looking at how we might get involved in trials that would support protecting the waterways in the region, which are one of our environmental assets. So this is a really important trial because it's looking at using alternative resources rather than actually herbicide use for spraying out weeds, which can have off-farm impacts. And so this trial is really important for helping us to look at whether or not things like compost will actually work.